A game that is considered a masterpiece by many is an awesome thing, because you can see how their fans show genuine love and happiness through it. Games like those are special in their own right. It can be double-edged, because if a sequel is ever to happen, then that must mean it will have to break incredibly high expectations, inevitably being compared to its predecessor all the time. No More Heroes is no exception to this. I already talked about how amazing that game is. I did a whole video on it. In case that, you wanna know why it's so good? The video is there.
Oh, give me a break. There are people starting from the sequel who don't care about continuity, you know.
That's a good point. That's a good point. So what I'm trying to say is that it's a fucking awesome game. But its sequel is something I was very interested in. Remember that at the time of this video, I am technically still very new to the series. I didn't know much before that other than No More Heroes 2 is a sequel with a lot of mixed reception. Some people think it's better and others think it's worse. But hey, it's already right there on my Switch. So instead of asking for someone else's opinion, why don't I just go and make my own? Just like the last time, I am not entirely sure what to expect. But to be honest, I am quite optimistic because look! It's Emerin from Fire Emblem Awakening, yeah! I like Awakening. Awakening is a great game. That means this one must be great too. So as a direct sequel, I think it's safe to say No More Heroes 2 retains the character action gameplay from its predecessor. You have the beam katana with high and low slices, a bunch of punches and kicks to stun enemy defenses, you have all those fancy wrestling moves, and a slot machine that gives different power-ups. So what's different this time? There's a new set of mechanics coming with this game, but I will start with what I think is the most noticeable change: the overall feel of the combat. I'll explain it as best as possible. In the first game, it was more of an arcade beat-em-up. Every move was very quick and straightforward. In No More Heroes 2, it's like all my slashes had some small wind-up, and timing them was more important. It took me a bit to get used to it, but soon enough, I found myself enjoying all the changes. The beam katana combos were just as flashy and exciting as they were. But not long after, I discovered how you could also transition them easier into beat attacks. Hell, even now it became completely reliable to just use your fists to take down the enemy. My favorite part was how they buffed the wrestling moves. Not only do they guarantee a kill, unless it's a boss, but they can also trigger the slot machine for the dark side mode. This adds an incentive to the mechanic and an exciting reward. I should also note that the generic enemies added some variety and much needed aggression to their ranks. Nothing you can handle, but a welcome addition nonetheless. As for new inclusions, we have Ecstasy. Represented by this tiger on the corner of the screen, it's a mechanic that increases your speed and attack power, as well as giving you longer combos the more you strike your opponent. There is a drawback to this, because if Travis is the one to receive damage, then the tiger will go back to sleep, returning you to 0. However, you can expend all that ecstasy to increase Travis' speed and kill everyone by simply button mashing. I kinda miss the katana combos as permanent upgrades, but this high stakes mechanic does a good job in rewarding you for simply playing well. No More Heroes 2 tries to amp your combat options by letting you carry 4 beam katanas and changing them on the go. You have the most basic selection imaginable, but I believe they are fine as they are. You have the hard-hitting Peony with insane range, perfect for crowd control. The dual-wielding Rose Nasty that delivers longer combos. Okay, to be honest, I struggle to see the difference between the Bloodberry and the Camellia tree. Like, I think Camellia is slightly faster, but that's about it. Still, I found myself switching between my weapons constantly. They do their job,
and bring more to the game. As a final contribution, and a small spoiler, the game might make you take control of Shinobu or Henry from the first game. In essence, they're like Travis, but with so many of his features removed. No ecstasy, no wrestling moves, no dark side mode. They both carry their own gimmick. Shinobu can jump to do some awkward platforming. Not a big fan of how to jump with her. You have to release the button instead of, just pressing it. It also doesn't help that if you double tap the same button, she does this pathetic aerial attack. It took a while to get the feel for it. But at the very least, her combo moves are great. Henry, on the other hand, has a pretty mediocre combo game, but his gimmick is so good. A simple triple dash. That's it. But I'd be lying if I said I didn't have fun spamming it. It may not sound exciting to play as lesser versions of Travis. If I am blunt, they are more like an experiment to see if people find them fun. Like, no joke, you can remove the section where you control Henry and nothing will change at all. We are just beta testing him. But I personally didn't find it annoying. I like these characters, so putting myself in their shoes was awesome! Aside from Shinobu's jumping, they control fine. And it also helps that they only take the spotlight for a brief period of time. I saw no harm with their inclusion. The combat isn't the only thing that saw a new makeover. The other face of No More Heroes is perhaps the most radical change, because the open world section has been entirely removed. No longer driving from one place to the next. Now it's just as simple as select a place and bada bing, you're right there. A small part of me misses exploring Santa Destroy, but only because it had some charm. But I guess they figure out, shit, we still have nothing interesting to do in this map. And that's fine. No reason to include a feature if you can't really justify its existence. Santa Destroy still offers some activities though. The minigames are back and now carry an entirely different face. All of them, except for two, are now presented in this 8-bit arcade format. And to be honest, I fucking love them! They were all so creative and addictive. My favorite being the one where you fix pipes to make water reach the other side. The worst being the one where you collect garbage in space. That was a stressful mess. Ah! Ah, shit! Oh, thank you. As expected, minigames exist as a faster source of income, although that's not as important as before. In this game, Travis no longer needs to pay a fee to enter a ranked match. If the player wants, they can go straight to the next assassin, no biggie. So the purpose of the money now is to let you taste the other activities from Santa Destroy. You can still buy clothes to customize Travis, but to be honest, I wasn't a big fan of the selection this time. I spent most of the game wearing the same red or purple jackets. I also didn't see a single Mexican t-shirt now that I think about it. The gym can still be used to increase your stats, also making its activities be a bunch of great 8-bit minigames. It made me wish there had been more. And finally, you can use the money to buy more weapons from Dr. Naomi, but... talk about a downgrade. All she does is sell you in total 2 katanas. That's it. No upgrades, nothing else. The true reason to come here is to witness the most insane boob physics you'll witness in your entire life. In fact, they are so crazy, it made my friend lose it during a stream. Look at those bonkers, Will. Look at the boob physics.
Holy fuck!
Yeah, no, they're fucking ridiculous.
They can only be compared to the bara titties of Ryan from the gym.
Joder, buenas tetas. Let's have another recap, like the last time.
So far we have gathered. The combat has a different feel. It added new stuff and reworked other mechanics. The open world became a simple menu, and with the removal of money being necessary to progress, it streamlined the whole game. the activities of Santa Destroy are now entirely optional.
The weird thing about this is that you can't objectively say the changes are better or worse.
Some people may prefer the arcade feel of the combat in the first game, but might also think that the pacing of 2 is superior.
All of that is up for debate, but I guess what you really want to know is, what about the tone this time? Does it even compare to the first game? That's a good question, because even I am still confused.
In that aspect I should mention, like the first game, No More Heroes 2 actually has a story this time around. It wants to focus on the theme of revenge, and to make the player reflect on the meaning of fighting. And that's fine, I appreciate the attempt. I quite like that Travis had some sort of character arc, but I don't believe the execution was the best because it feels lacking to the original. In the first game, every encounter with each assassin was like an episode itself. The beginning from when you get told to return your DVDs, gathering the money, Sylvia telling you about your next match, taking the challenges to reach them, and then enjoy everything related to the bosses. Technically speaking, that was a routine, but I never found it to be a problem because the game excelled in delivering a spectacle that always felt fresh. This is extremely evident once you take a look at the assassins. In No More Heroes 1, every second spent with all of them was so great, but in 2, they just don't hit the same. The chemistry of rivalry that I love so much received a major blow, and I believe it's because they lack in at least one of the 3 main strengths that made them so good: the pre-battle cutscene, the battle itself, and their dying words. Shall we take a look at all of them? Some of the pre-battle cutscenes either don't contribute much to learning more about the assassin, or don't do anything interesting with your character. Sometimes they just go, "Oh, you're the legendary Travis Touchdown. Oh, you're my opponent. Let's fight them." And okay, I get it. They're assassins. But what's stopping them from pulling great stunts like Dr. Peace's concert, the magic show with Harvey, or Destroyman fucking with you? This lack of character opportunity for the assassins also takes away from Travis, who doesn't have much chance to share his unique charm. Then there's their boss battles. I can tell you that half of the bosses were easier this time around. I'm not kidding. I probably beat like 5 of these guys in 2 minutes without much effort. But if it's not that, then it's just because the battles are not that great. Charlie McDonald Thundercock. What an excellent way to present a rival. But his battle is a tutorial that never happens again for the rest of the game. And finally, we have their dying words. The problem is, almost nobody has them. No More Heroes 2 tries to make the player feel more involved by making them deal the killing blows through a session of QuickTime events. And fine, I'll admit I really like doing that. But they happen right after the battle finishes, not letting the now deceased assassins go out with something that stays with the player. This brings back the exact same problem with the pre-battle cutscenes. They don't let us know more about them, or don't have much dynamic with Travis. Remember that at the end of the day, this only applies to some of them, because I can tell you, when No More Heroes 2 does it right, it fucking nails it. Characters like Matt Helms or Ryuji are rare exceptions because they never trade words with you, but their actions, motifs, and their battles make them amazing standouts. Then we have the assassins that bring that amazing feel from the first game, contributing to both them and Travis, Alice and Margaret. If you have fought them, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, here's a funny story. Wanna know what was the absolute worst part of the game for me? The motorcycle sections. They fucking suck. I don't know what happened, maybe I came across a game-breaking glitch, but every time I was required to do them, Travis would just do wheelies, and I couldn't do anything else. And I'm serious, I checked my controllers, I tried everything, but he will still do them. I'm seriously trying. I shit you not, I died like 8 times in this game. 7 because of that motorcycle battle where you die if you fall off. I had to learn the behavior of this glitch to use it to my favor. I can't recall the last time I had to do that. But it's ironic because the battle that came after that was one of the best. This is what perplexes me the most about No More Heroes 2. It's a game that goes from good to excellent in just a matter of seconds, and it bounced through it all the time. But then I finally found out why it is like that. Suda wasn't the director for this game. He was still heavily involved with its development. The title of the video is an exaggeration, of course. But after playing these 2 games back to back, researching more about this guy, and all I just talked about, it's very obvious his influence wasn't at full potential here, and why the quality spikes are so clear.
No More Heroes 2 may not have been better in every aspect, but I still believe it tried to be a great sequel. Unfortunately, it doesn't always hit the mark, and it may fall short where the other game excelled, but the effort is commendable.
It really expands on the combat. It definitely fixes some of the issues from its predecessor. The comedy is still great, and I don't think I need to mention the graphics, but I'll do it anyway. I love the sharper and more detailed character models. The smooth animations add to the feel of the combat, and the darker color palette looks great. And I will say that this time, much more of the soundtrack stuck with me. I still had to give it a listen while writing the script, but the end result was the same.
Joder, qué buen soundtrack.
As for its performance, no difference I'll say. I didn't experience any frame drops, and the loading screens were quick. Aside from that godforsaken motorcycle, my only issue was the game crashing on me once, making me lose a lot of minigame grinding. But outside of that, I still enjoyed my time here.
Whether you believe No More Heroes 1 or 2 is superior, it's all about personal preference. They are still great games that lovers of faction or stupidity should play. Which is me. I can tell you, I am genuinely happy I finally got to experience them.
One last thing. Remember that these versions I played were lent by my friend Carlos, and it just so happens he started making videos again. So as a way to repay him, I'll leave his channel at the end and at the description of the video. So give my man some support. He deserves it after all.
It's a long road ahead, but if we stick with it, we are bound to achieve what we want. Just like Travis.
Downward fucking dog!
That's who I aspire to be.